Hello guys, welcome back to this YouTube channel. So today I'll be doing the market outlook I promised to do on my last video. So this pound USD daily chart and the structure of the market, like looking at the structure of the markets, we are still very bearish, and we've been bearish um, since August 2021, like bearish until this date, which is August August 12th, 2022. So here on the daily time frame, we had this break of structure here. We had this break of structure here. So price pulled back and we had another break of structure. And from our studies of market structure, we know that after a break of structure, means after you get a break of structure, mostly get a pullback, and then we can look to trade the continuation of that bearish market structure. So that's exactly what we'll be doing here on pound USD going into next week. So since we had this break of structure here, and we are in that pullback phase. So price has pulled back into this demand zone here. It was pulled back into the demand zone here, and we want to maybe look for some kind of sales from within here or here, like from anywhere within this leg. We want to look for sales because we know that overall price is within this huge supply range. So this like our supply range, so we are bound to look for sales within supply zones and buys within demand zones. So since the daily time frame has tapped into the supply zone, we have like some really nice push away from, like we have a really nice reaction to the zone. So we want to study the lower time frames because we can't just trade the daily time frame. We cannot trade the daily time. We have to like combine what we have on the daily time frame with what the structure and other flow on the 4 hour. Like we combine that out of the daily with that of the 4 hour and then 15 minutes and 1 minute. So that's we have to like combine the structure of the market across different time frames. So here on daily we are bearish, and we know that, like for me, I know that this is my last lower high, and if price breaks and closes above this, I could maybe say that we've had a break of structure. But the way I'm looking at it, I'm not really looking at this high as my main high. I'm not looking at this as my main high. Actually looking at this, actually looking at this high to be like my highest high, and then this to be like my lowest low, because whenever I'm looking for maybe my higher time frame ranges, that my trading range, maybe on a daily time frame, normally just look at the last 20 trading days. I will take notes of the highest high and the lowest low within the last 20 trading days. So here, the last 20 trading days, our highest high is here and our lowest low is somewhere here. You can even see maybe it's low. And then after doing that, I will extend it to the last 40 trading days. This like the highest high within the last 40 trading and this lowest low. Then again, I will like extend it to 60 trading days. So this is the highest high and this is the lowest low. And if you look at this particular range, like this is the low and this is the high. If you look at this range on the weekly time frame, you see that this this pullback here, like this is a single push on the weekly time frame. But on a daily, we had a slight pullback somewhere here, which is not really visible on, is somehow visible on the weekly time frame, but we didn't really get a break and close when price pushed down here. We like price rejected this range. So I still consider this as like a single push and then taking this as my whole range, that's this high and then this low. So if price pulls into maybe this supply zone here, I could still look for sales to take out this particular low. Okay, so that's like one of the reasons why I'm looking at this range to be like my entire trading range. But since I'm getting a reaction from this particular supply here, I'll still look for sales. Like it's basically just following what the market is doing. They like normally just have maybe by my prediction or outlook on what the market might do, but it's mainly about following what the market is doing and not really trying to force your own bias on the market. So going over to the 4 hour time frame. So here on the 4 hour we have our push face here. We have our push face here, and it is like a single push on the daily, and we know that this single push on the daily is like a bearish market structure on the 4 hour, and the same thing applies to the pullback. A single daily pullback, like when we have a single push on the daily like this, we'll start having some kind of break of structure on the 4 hour, which will form some kind of bullish market structure going up. And the same thing applies to the continuation. If the daily time frame is to push down, the 4 hour time frame will have to break structure, and they will start forming bearish market structure going down. So that's what you want to be trading. So here on the daily time frame, so sorry, on the 4 hour time frame, since we've mitigated this daily supply zone here, so all we need to wait for is for the structure on the 4 hour to align with that of the daily time frame. And we know that the structure on the daily time frame is bearish. So we would want to see bearish market structure on the 4 hour before we can say that okay, price is most likely going to continue in that daily market structure. So this was like our last uh, higher low on the 4 hour. We had this because when price pushed down here, we had like this push up, which was like we had our break of structure here. You can either mark this out as your break of structure or you mark this out, it's still the same low. So it all depends on how you map out your structural points. So for me, I normally just use this and then just ignore this week here. So this like our last higher low. It's like our last high low and we had the break here. So when we have a break of structure, we mostly get a pullback into that particular zone. This is like a whole range. You can take it as a whole range, or you can still refine it to maybe a specific candle. And after the pullback, we want to see a continuation. So from the way I map out structure and order flow and stuff like that, from the way I map out structure, and let me say we had a bullish market structure here, and now we have the break of that bullish market structure here. Normally, I will want to see pullback into this zone. I want to see pullback into this zone. So, but most times I normally just maybe take trades from that first pullback. But when the moment I will confirm that particular structure, because now we've broken bullish structure, and the structure of the market is somehow bearish now, but it's not yet confirmed. So the only time I'll confirm that the structure is truly bearish is if I get a pullback into this new supply range that has been created following this break of structure, and price respecting this particular supply range and pushing down to make a new lower low. So we now have a high here, we have a high here, and we have a lower high, and then now a lower low has been formed. So here we can see that you know that when the structure of the market is bearish, it makes lower highs and lower lows. So now we have a lower high and then we have a lower low. So I can see for sure that the structure of the market is truly bearish. So I could confidently look for sales whenever price pulls back within this range. I can see that this structure has been confirmed because we have a lower high and then a lower low. So I can look for trades within somewhere here or here and then look to target that daily low. So that's how we'll be looking at the hour time frame on the compound USD. So we have that break of structure here. We have that break of structure here and price now pulling back. We haven't really confirmed that the structure has truly changed. We have a break of structure, yes, but we don't have that confirmation that the structure of the market now is bearish. So we need to see that pullback. We need to see price from that lower high. And the only time we can confirm this high to be our newly formed lower high is if we get a break and close below this low, making a lower low. That's the only time we can confirm that. Sorry. That's the only time we can confirm that price is truly bearish, and then we can look to take the trade on the next pullback lower high and target this daily low here. So that's how we'll be looking at it. But since we haven't really gotten that confirmation, we could still just look for trades within here, following this break of structure and just following the 15 minutes time frame structure and order flow. So now going to the 15 minutes, let see maybe if you can look for, let's see if you can see some kind of structure within the 15 minutes that makes sense. So here on the 15 minutes, we have like this bearish market structure here. So now this single push, because we know on the 4 hour that this single push here is a daily, that this is a single push on the 4 hour. And now that single push on the 4 hour will mostly look like that single push on the 4 hour will mostly look like a bearish market structure, that's price breaking below this low and making lower highs and lower lows and stuff like that. So since we have this to be a single push on the 4 hour, on the 15 minutes to we'll have a bearish market structure and stuff like that. So applying the same thing, like just applying the way we run structure on the daily and 4 hour, applying the same logic to that of the 15 minutes, we can say that this was our last lower high here. And we have this to be our last lower high. That's based on the 15-minute structure. We have a break of structure here. Had a break of structure here and price pulled back. We kind of like got a reaction to this supply zone, but we ultimately broke above this range here. So now this is like the tricky part. We know that the structure of the 4 hour has broken the bullish structure, but it's not yet confirmed yet. And here on the 15 minutes, you can either look at this whole push as a single push and maybe expect price to maybe respect some of these ranges and then continue up, But then when you look at structure like this, you are mostly just following what the 15-minute structure is telling you alone. So it's important to combine the whole time frame like daily, 15 minutes, 4 hour, 1 minute together. We know that the daily time frame is bearish. The 4 hour has now aligned with the daily time frame, but it's not yet confirmed yet. But at least we have a bearish structure on the 4 hour. Now the 15-minute time frame is somehow aligned, but it all depends on how you look at structure. So if we look at the structure of the market like this, if we say that we had this to be, if we say that we had this to be our break structure, say these are break construction, and following this to be like our last higher low. So this is like our break construction. And since price has now pushed down and broken the structure here, saying that that's if you are looking at this particular structure. So you can see that the structure now is a broken the bullish structure and price has pulled back into this new supply range, which is somewhere here. So price has pulled back into the new supply range and now price has also confirmed that supply range by respecting like the pullback respected range. Now we've now pushed down to make a new lower low. So we can then say, okay, we have a confirmed bearish structure on the 15 minutes. So there's a possibility that price will mostly pull back into maybe this supply here or maybe this particular supply here or just anything within this range. Like right, there's a possibility that price would pull back into anything here. Now that's exactly what we want to see. We want to see price pull back into maybe this range here because this range is actually valid and it's unmitigated. So we want to see price pull back into this range, this engulfed candle here, or even this one here. Like there are multiple zones here. So we just watch and see how price pulls back into this range and then then look for our confirmations on the 1 minute and then take the trade. So that will be it for pound USD. So on the video I uploaded I think on Friday or Saturday, I don't know exactly. I didn't really include the outlook for Euro USD, so I just wanted to like just talk about it a little bit. Like it's basically the same thing as what I talked about last week. So we still have that bearish structure on the Euro USD. Still have that bearish market structure. And now we are looking at this as some maybe I was just pointing at maybe this foray as a place where price could pull back and make our lower high before continuing down. So but then last week we saw price push just into the bottom of the range. Price taps the bottom of the range. We don't know for sure if price is going to continue down, but you have to study the 4 hour structure and the 15-minute structure that's during the week and see how that one goes as well. So here we have price pushing out of the range and we have price pushing out of this range. And here we have a very valid demand range here. Very valid demand range. So yeah, valid demand range here. So there's a possibility that price will maybe pull back, price will pull back into this and then continue up because the 4 hour structure is still bullish. until we break this low, until price breaks this low. That's if price pushes down, breaks low, then we can then look for sales. But you see how everything develops. And if this happens to be like some kind of shift in market structure, so how I normally confirm shifts in market structure is, let's say I have something like this, and then this that shifts in market structure. I want to see a body close below this low. Now that price broke and closed below this low, that does not really mean that we are bearish, because this is not a break of structure. This low here didn't break this high, so there's a so price could as well just pull back into maybe this range and continue the bullish structure. So how I normally look at shifts in market structure is when I have that shift in market structure feeling a break below this low and some kind of shifts here. I'll try to look at the dollar index and see if there's some kind of divergence between the dollar index and Euro USD. And structurally, that's based on how I look at based on how I apply structure to shifts in market structure like this. I want to see price pull back into this range. You can say that this is a supply range. I want to see price pull back into this range, respect the range and make any lower low. So then I can look for a trade whenever price pulls back into this, and then just continue that very structure which is being formed somewhere here. So that's how I look at shifts in market structure. So if that's what if is what Euro USD might be doing, we want to see something like this. We want to see a shift. We want to see a shift like this. We already have that break of structure here. We want to see price pull back into maybe this engulf candle here. This is a bullish candle. So, so we want to see price pull back into this candle here, push down, breaking this low that is kind of like formed here. And I can confidently look for a sell here. I can even target this particular low here. That's if I get a structure like this. I can then look for sales, still using my confirmation, and that's my 1 minute confirmation for entries, and then you can target this high, or even sorry, this low, or even this low here, or even this low. So it all depends on what the market presents to us. So we just basically prepare ourselves for whatever the market is going to be doing next week. So that's it for Euro USD. Let me check the 15 minute time frame, see if there's anything. So yeah, we also have that break or structure, just the same thing as that. That's all the for sorry, that of pound USD have break or structure somewhere here. Price pulls back into this supply zone here. And then we've now confirmed the bearish structure with this new break. So we can then look to see price take out this. That's if it gets a pullback into this range, then we can look to take the sell. So that will be it for Euro USD and pound USD. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, do well to click the subscribe button and like the video. So, so that's it, guys. And I wish you all a successful trading week. Bye for now.